of the stuff that we're going to do is in these two, the design and the manufacture one. Um, there's, and they changed the name of these since I started using this program. So there's some stuff in here I still don't know what it is. But anyway, we're just doing design and manufacture. Those are the workspaces that we're in. We're in the design workspace now. So that allows us to insert an SVG file. This is the same thing you would use to cut on the Glowforge or something like that. And I want to get back to my top-down view that I was on before. All right. And
Are there vector plans out there for most every year of most every amazing guitar?
well, there are a lot of them there. But I'm going to show you another way we can do this sort of without a plan and do it with just an image. But let's start with the SVG and then we'll go to that. So I'm going to open this Mustang body SVG that I made earlier. I hope. And I'm going to tell it to put it right here in the XY plane. So notice that it gives you the option to move this thing around, right? To move the design around, and also to scale the drawing, scale plane XY. That's actually really important to this whole process. For right now, I'm just going to click OK, and hopefully the SVG imports without any problems. It kind of offset it from the origin point here, but that's what I wanted. And I don't know why it's green. I think that's a new feature. Kevin, when did it change to green?
I've never seen it be green, so that's a new one for me. It could just be an SVG thing that they recently changed.
Lowering the bar. That's my middle name. Okay. All right. That guitar that I made horrible noise for you with, I didn't make the neck. I ordered the neck from a company called Warmoth. They make really nice necks, finished, unfinished, whatever style that you want. The cool thing about Warmoth is that their necks are all the same width. They're standard width, and not all guitar necks are the same width, but for electric guitars, a lot of them are 2 3/16 inches wide. And I always have to divide 3 by 16 to remember that. It's 0.1875. Okay. So these are 2.1875 inches at the widest point of the neck. So I want to check to make sure that the widest point from here where the curve starts down to here where, and you can see it kind of went a little wonky there. I'm just going to pick this point right here. That this distance, and I can measure it using the inspect tool.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, sorry to interrupt. I think
no, please.
Maureen just tried to join the group, and I think you're the moderator. You have to let her in.
Oh, I have the power. I'm drunk with power. Maureen. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome.
Hey, Maureen.
Hey.
So,
can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear us okay?
I can. I'm goofing around. I'm casting this to my television from my phone. So
Oh man, that is high tech. It's nice to be back on television. So, I was showing folks in Fusion that you can import an SVG, and I actually made this SVG from a PDF of a plan for one of my favorite kinds of guitars, which is the Fender Mustang. I always wanted one, just like I always wanted a 72 Telecaster Deluxe, but I've never had one before. But I'm going to soon, because we're gonna make one. Okay. The other thing I showed everybody was on this cool website, Warmoth Guitars, you can order all these beautiful necks. And for this model guitar, they're all 2.1875 inches wide. So I want to make sure that this space well, I'm not sure why my zoom isn't working. That this space, the widest part of the neck in here, from about here, I'm going to click on inspect. I'm going to measure from here down to here. I'm going to see if that's close to 2.1875. 2.172. That's pretty good. So, but it's not perfect. And of all of these dimensions in the guitar, right? The length of it, the size of these holes, the the degree of curvature here, none of that really matters all that much. If the pocket's not big enough for your controls, just get out your chisel. It's not a big deal. If your pickup doesn't fit, well, we're going to hollow out this whole area, so it doesn't really matter if it doesn't fit. Just hog it out with the chisel or a router or something like that. But this part, the neck pocket, that's kind of important. There's parts of the neck, if you design your own neck, there's parts of that are important here. But this one, you really, really don't want this to be 2.172. Because if you buy your neck from that website I showed you, it's not going to fit. So we need to make this distance exactly 2.1875. So I'm going to find out how big we need to scale the SVG when we re-import it by taking 2.1875, if I can touch type 1875. And I'm going to divide by 2.172 to get a multiplication factor. It's really close to 1, but it's not 1. So I'm going to copy this from my calculator. And I'm going to undo inserting that SVG. But then I'm just going to redo it again. So I'm going to select that file, my Mustang body SVG. But this time, I'm going to paste that multiplication factor into the scale plane XY part of the insert SVG menu. I'm not going to move it around or anything like that. I'm just going to multiply it out. All right. So it's the same SVG, but it's actually been multiplied by 1.00, whatever that was. So I'm going to check this one more time, and I'm hopeful that if we select exactly those points again, it was the end of this curve, and we decided to make the end of this curve the other point. Here it's 2.178. So we're off by, what is that, 0.003 of an inch? If I were really going to carve out this guitar, I might fiddle with it and try to get it a little bit closer. I might leave it the way that it is and then cut a 2x4 pocket and see if my neck fits in that. So for the purposes of moving this along, I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, that's fine. Let's finish that right up. So now,
does your neck has to be really straight or really, really, really straight when you're done?
Well, so the ones that you get from this website, and I'll just show you some of the guitar necks that they have for sale. Look at one of these Stratocasters. They're gorgeous, and they're really, all of their necks are really, really straight. They're very, very nice. You want your neck to be really, really straight. I mean, it really should be, when the strings are on it and they're under tension, and your neck relief adjustment, the truss rod is adjusted properly. You want it to be flat, but not exactly flat. It's got to give just a little tiny bit. But you can't do that unless you have a... Oh, so I mean flat
No, when I said straight,
Yeah.
when I put my neck into the Telecaster kit we were using, it was hard to tell like what the center of the body was in a way that you knew if your
Oh, yeah.
neck was straight through the center line of your body.
I think, let's see. I think you're talking about along this dimension.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you'll know if it's not straight because the strings aren't going to line up. So that's the great thing is you have these 6 lines to tell you when you put the neck on there, they need to be centered on the neck, right? And um, because they're different thicknesses, it's not going to be perfect. But yeah, it needs to be on there pretty well. So everything needs to line up, and it will nicely because we have this great center line here. So everything that we put in here is going to be right in the center of the diagram. When you do bolt the neck on, though, it shouldn't be going off at an angle like this. It really needs to be on that line. You'll know when you string it up, though. Okay, so if you've done any kind of CAD work before, you'll notice that we're not getting these filled areas like this for the body of the guitar, and we really kind of want that to happen. That's so that we can like extrude stuff out to give it some thickness, like that. And that means that when this SVG came over, there's actually some gaps in between these connecting points on all these different segments. And we saw one earlier, right? Remember down here? These things actually don't match up. I mean, we could mess around with the sketch, but I found that SVG files that are processed in Inkscape like that, just they don't translate well. There's some utilities that will automatically fill in these gaps for you when you select all of the sketch elements, but those are kind of finicky as well. So I used to do that, but my workflow now is I'm going to take this sketch where we put the SVG. Poor little computer's just, it's doing its best. It really is. I'm going to try to make a new sketch, and then I'm just going to trace stuff with my own splines and lines. It might take a while, so now's a good time to ask questions, if you have any at this point.
Hey, Chris, have you tried using Inkscape to convert it to a DXF first, and then try importing it?
No, does that work?
I don't know. DXF is more of a CAD format, and I think, I don't know. It just seems like it might work better.
It might indeed. I'm willing to give it a try, but this would also be an opportunity for you to start adding some custom elements. So let's say that you want a Mustang body, but you don't want these single coil pickups in it. You want a couple of humbuckers in it instead. Or you want a Mustang type of guitar with single coils, but you don't want the whammy bridge, which is what these holes are for. Or you want to add in a 4th knob here, so you want to extend this thing. So tracing it out yourself can give you some customization, unless you want like an authentic copy of a particular guitar. So you might not have noticed, but I created this new sketch here from the undo so that I'm not in the sketch environment anymore. Right now we're in the solid part of the design workspace, and that's for making 3-dimensional solid things. Well, I got into the sketch element again. Okay. Like extruding parts, right? So we're actually going to make little pockets here of these things. But what I need to do is create a sketch, a 2-dimensional sketch that is in the same plane as the rest of these. And now the tools just changed. So the tools that you have here are for drawing a sketch. And splines are one of the major elements. This is a sketch element that allows you to draw curved surfaces. I mean, curved shapes. Although I lost control of my spline. So I want to link this to some of the other stuff, and then... that's weird. I really would not like to be constrained to that. All right, there we go. Let's start going this way.
So, Chris, I have two
I'm going to
questions.
stop right there just for a second. Go ahead.
So basically, what you're doing is you have a picture for tracing, and then you're creating another sketch over it to make sure you get the nice proper lines that you want, and then customize it accordingly. And then you're going to make this into a component after that.
So once I have traced the entire outline of the body, then I'll leave the sketch environment, and what I'll be able to do is extrude that into a three-dimensional shape. At least that's my plan. And you see that the curve that I've got actually isn't matching up exactly to the body there. And so I want to, and here's the problem with these new sketch tools, is they put these little constraints on here. So this dot I do want to be coincident. That's the little symbol right there with the other line.
Hey, Chris, we're not seeing your presentation, I think.
Oh, shoot.
Maybe that's just me.
Can you guys see the Fusion
You're
environment
there.
still?
Yep.
Okay. So, let's see. I would really like to grab onto some of these handles, but some of them are constrained. That means they have an instruction not to move and to be anchored to something else. That's what you get for leaving Fusion alone for so long. Alright, if I can't get it, then I'm just going to try to... Ah, there we go. Fusion will try to constrain your sketch elements so that they can be connected and match other sketch elements, other points on a line or a curve or something like that. And sometimes that prevents you from doing what you want to do. So I'm trying to move this tangent handle.
Just a little quick tip on that.
Oh, please.
Sometimes it helps to actually draw something wildly wrong that has no constraints on it, and then apply your constraints one at a time.
And that's a trouble, actually, when you're trying to match a design. Let's try that one more time. And maybe we can see it. Keep an eye out and see if... So I'm not going to come up close to this line exactly. I'm just going to stay outside of it so that we can move some things around. There's just some crazy shapes.
It looks like me node editing in VCarve.
Right. Okay. So, now I've got something that's somewhat curvy, and I think Kevin may be right that I'll be able to activate this handle and move it around. No? This one at least, maybe? Ah. Maybe turn snap off. Nope. Joel, the bar can't get much lower than this.
So I think you may have used the wrong kind of spline.
Don't worry, I've got another one that I worked on earlier in the oven.
So Chris, I think you may have used the wrong kind of spline, where it's like
Oh my
really
God.
trying to force you to
It's a
fit
fit
those.
point spline. Yeah, I think you're right. Control point spline is what I want. Let's try that. Or maybe not. No, that's not what I'm used to dealing with, actually.
Maybe you want arcs instead of splines?
I really did want a spline.
Huh.
Let's just try a 2-point spline and see if we can't adjust these tangent handles.
Okay, just Rick saying he wants to stick that one. All right, well, I'm thinking of this color.
Well, let's do this then.
Does anyone else who knows Google Meet know why I'm not seeing Chris's presentation? I'm seeing everyone's video webcams, but I'm not seeing the share.
You may need to click the 3 dots in the bottom right, and then from there you can change your layout.
Yeah, I've been clicking around on everything.
I clicked 3 dots and it allowed me to pin Chris's post. I don't know what that does.
Don't worry about it. Keep going, of you.
Oh, I'm trying, but man, I'm stuck.
Why does it give you handles if you can't move them?
I know. Well, that's Fusion for you. So I'm seeing some stuff where maybe this actually is fixed to something. Nope.
Yeah, I just tried it on mine using the fit point spline, and it does move.
Yeah. But you don't have a sketch underneath this one.
Correct. Right.
That's weird that... Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Let me try a couple other things. One more try, and then I'm going to go to the one that's ready made in the oven, because I know that we're running short on time. What? You know, I've never seen this thing before. Do you see the, this
that weird
thing?
origin thing?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it recently showed up, and it's been causing problems for me. It's obnoxious.
Oh, you know what? Do you see this little thing that says 3D sketch there? I think that might be a problem. Where it's looking for me to go into another dimension. Let's do this. We're going to delete this sketch and make sure we're in this view. We're going to create a new sketch. Creating a new sketch always solves every problem in Fusion. It really, really does.
Hey, Chris, I did a quick Google search, and I think you're on the right track.
Yeah.
So a difference between 3D splines and 2D.
Yeah.
Splines.
Oh, yes. I think so. All right. So now I'm actually not constraining it to anything. There we go. Oh, my goodness. 3D sketches are like really good for some things. This is not one of them. All right. Let's sort of start right there. So hopefully I'll actually have some control over this one. There we go. So now you can
Alright.
grab these handles and start to move stuff around, and then the curve gets a little closer to what it is that you wanted to do in the first place, and you can actually move these points around as well.
So all you did was uncheck the 3D sketch, Chris?
Yeah. That's not the first time I've had trouble with 3D sketches, but like I said, it's been a while. Okay. All right. I know we're closing it. We're getting close to 8. So what I'd like to do is go to an earlier version of the Mustang that I made, and show you the sketches. All right. So one of the differences here is that it's not green, but the other one is that you can select these very large swaths of stuff here. You see how that all gets filled in? So what I want to do right now is select everything. So if we had time, we'd, connect all the dots, make a completely enclosed thing. The reason we're not able to select those things in the sketch we're working on is they're not completely enclosed. We've got gaps in it, like the one that we zoomed on here earlier. So, it'll change color on you when you do have something that you can select and extrude, just like we're able to do in this model. Guitars like this one are typically like an 1.5 inches thick. So I'm going to now select all of this blue stuff and use the extrude tool. And I'm actually going to go down below the surface of an object is not visible. Oh yeah, well, there's a reason for that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go down negative 1.5 inches. And I'm going to say okay. Nothing happened because I've hidden that body. Well, let's try that one more time. Let's extrude minus 1.5 inches. And you see how it's all red there? Can you see the pink stuff underneath?
Yeah.
That's because the extrude menu is set to the cut operation. What I really needed to do is create a new body. And I just remembered why it's not visible. It's because the body is not the active component. But now that it is, okay. So I've got this huge solid hunk of wood. But I like it when the CNC does a lot of the cutting, so I don't have to route out all these pockets myself. And let's just go back to the very beginning of it as we're closing in on our time. Go back to the Warmoth site and check out the guitar neck that we were thinking about buying. And they have this "Will it fit my guitar?" Well, their necks are designed to fit in a pocket that's 5/8 inches deep, or 0.625 inches. So in order to create that pocket, I'm just going to select this part of the sketch and do another extrude. I'm going to go down negative 0.625, and that's going to be the pocket that I need right there for my neck. Now, because there was a body underneath that, it defaulted to this cut operation. This time I do want the cut because I want to make a hole in that thing that we extruded. So we'll click OK. Now we've got our neck pocket. And we can do the rest for the holes for the controls, for the pickups, for the whammy bar springs, for the switches, and all that stuff. Once we know how deep that we need to make them. But again, this is the most crucial thing. The depth needs to be right, and this distance needs to be correct as well.
What's the
2.229. We'll fix that later.
What's the cleanest way to drill a conduit for the wiring between the pickup cavities?
Ooh, I've got a super long drill bit that I use so I can come in at a really steep angle, and most of the time I'm careful enough with it so it doesn't pop out the side of the guitar. Mostly.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, making, like carving the body, you'll need to do a tool path. All of these steps are on my YouTube channel. So there's a whole tutorial on doing a different type of guitar, but maybe it's a little different to see live so that you can stop somebody and say, hey, what were you thinking trying to make a sketch into 3 dimensions on that? That didn't work. Or, you know, ask questions and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed that and it was fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
I need to get back in the swing of the Fusion thing. Like I said, it's a super user-friendly, just really engaging project, program that just very intuitive. I'm being sarcastic.
Have you spray painted a starburst yet?
No. But that would be cool. Yeah, I would love to do that. I do have a couple rattle cans of finish that I'm interested in trying.
When we can get together online, which might not be for years and years, I want to do it with you.
For sure. Well, we can mask up and get in the spray booth and start squirting some paint. What else?
Chris, is there like pens or anything that help with drawing or sketching? When you were sketching over it, is there an easy way to sketch with, besides just using the mouse and drawing the lines?
Well, I mean, I've tried using like a tablet pen to sort of guide, because you might think, oh, that's going to be, you know, really intuitive and it's going to feel more like really drawing. And so the short answer is absolutely not. It just didn't help me at all. So, but you know, trackpads don't work. So you know, you've got to use some kind of 3-button mouse and a scroll wheel really helps. And then it's tons of practice of like being able to rotate, shift drag, click the mouse wheel to drag, that sort of thing.
I always say the opposite. I use a Wacom tablet every day to draw splines because I'm masking photography, and I think there's no comparison to how fast I am with a Wacom, you know, tablet and a pen.
Maybe with practice I get better. I'll try to give it another shot. But I tried it a little bit, but maybe I'd invested too much into the mouse method already.
Well, the trick is turning your mouse sensitivity up to like the max.
Yeah, that does help. Neil, how's it going? Are you about to pour?
I will move the camera, Pat. I've done the.
I can't see where the camera's pointing.
Yeah, we've gotten.
You need to come down.
Top level. And closer.
Closer. Yep. Too much closer right off the table.
I've started doing my own first ambitious 2-stage epoxy pours, and it is so hard. Blow torching the bubbles out.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did a hatch cover I had to cover a table for my son last year. And, and you can also just blow on it with a straw, and you get a lot of them out. I may have guessed this pretty well. I think we need to. Well, for some reason we're running downhill, so we may have to shim him up one little step. Let's pick something like that. Whoa. Not that much. And now it's going the other way. Yep. Too much. Half of that.
I got to share one thing that Kevin put on Slack. I don't know if you guys seen this yet. These are special screws that don't work. Oops, sorry. There you go. That's awesome. Those are funny. Oh, that's nice. The hinged screw. Anyway. Cool beans. So, I'm going to be here every Friday at 7. Tell your friends, come back. We'll do it again. I posted a list to Slack and some other stuff of potential topics, but I'm wide open. We can keep doing Fusion. We can talk about other things. I really like to present on this graphing program called R. I don't know how many graph nerds are out there, but I love making beautiful plots and figures with R. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would love to see that too.
Cool. It's the pirate's favorite statistical package.
I'm going to create a spreadsheet with all the classes and try and block it all at a month at a time. So give me 3-4 days. I'll have that all ready for you and Kevin and anyone else who cares to look at and modify.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody. This was fun.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good weekend, everybody.
We'll see you soon.
See
you next week. Not
Thank
before.
You.